How's everybody doing? Super fantastic. Just like every Wednesday, we just lost 3/4 of the congregation. The future of the church just walked that way. It's still awesome to see, though, isn't it? All these kids. All right, guys, I want to start out tonight with a question. Do you realize that your life, your physical life, the things you do on a day-to-day basis, some things that you come in contact with throughout your day, can actually have some kind of spiritual meaning? Sometimes you can take instances in your life and put a spiritual meaning behind it. Maybe it's something you do at work. Maybe it's something you do with your family. Maybe it's some phone call that you have. I know my wife, she likes to talk to her aunt every day on the phone. You can use instances and things like that of your life to put spiritual meaning behind it. You know why we should do that? Because what happens when we leave these walls of this church? We're in the real life, right? And if we're taking God with us and we're taking Jesus with us, you have to look for ways to get across what you're trying to say to somebody, right? You're out there ministry and you're talking to people, you're telling them about God, you're telling them about Jesus. Maybe they've never heard it before. They're just not getting it. They're just not understanding what you're talking about. What do you mean, salvation? What do you mean? I don't understand. So we have to kind of not drop it down to their level. You don't ever want to say that. You have to reorganize it. You have to figure it out for them. Put it in terms that they're going to understand, right? That's why they made other versions than King James Bible. We talked about that in small group on Sunday. They made that so I could understand what it said when I read it, right? Yes. But they understand. We have to understand not everybody's going to know what we're talking about without adding some kind of something into it that they're going to understand, right? So if we can allow this way of thinking to exist in our daily lives, two things will happen for us. One, you yourself will start looking for blessings in all the things around you, including the bad stuff. When something bad happens in your life, instead of turning to the woe is me, you might look at, okay, what blessing can I find in this so that I can tell somebody about it? I know it's hard sometimes to find blessings in the bad stuff. It is. But there's going to be something there. If you make it through it, it's testimony, right? Yes. You make it through the bad stuff, there's a testimony. There's something to go out and tell somebody about. So there's a blessing in it. There's blessings inside all these things. So the other thing is you're going to really start to realize the impact that Christ can have on your life outside of the safety of that pew you're sitting in right now. Right now we're all sitting in church, we're sitting in our pew, we feel kind of safe. We feel kind of comfortable. Maybe searching for something, maybe looking for something, but we know, hey, I'm okay right now. Right? But if we can allow this way of thinking that God has something to do with everything in our life, you can start really enjoying the life you have outside of these walls. No matter what comes your way, whether it's good, bad, or in between. So I challenge each and every one of you, as I go through my sermon tonight, to start thinking of ways in your life that you can say, hey, you know what? I can use something that I do every day in my life to interpret Christ to somebody. To change the physical meaning into a spiritual meaning. Everybody with me? Understand what I'm saying? Because we got to break it down, right? Travis calls it redneck terminology. Sometimes I need redneck terminology. Okay? Now, with that all being said, I want to talk to you about tonight's sermon. If you looked in the bulletin, it says washed or sanitized. Seems kind of crazy, don't it? What does that mean? I'm going to tell you what it means. Washed or sanitized. This is a concept that I have applied to my professional life for many years. This is something that I've thought about on a professional business level day after day after day after day. And it's come up even more often lately because I've started teaching food safety classes for McDonald's. Okay, so I thought about washed or sanitized way more than I ever did. So basically, here's what it is. There's a huge difference, if you don't know, between something being washed and something being sanitized. There's a huge difference. If you've ever worked in any kind of food service industry, I hope you know that. If you don't know that, you do now. You can go back and tell the folks who haven't told you. Okay? But there's a huge difference between washed and sanitized. Let me explain. When you wash something, you remove visible physical debris, such as dirt, grease, built-up grime, food particles, mold, visible mold, such things as that. It appears to the physical eye to be clean. Right? Let's take this stool right here as an example. If I take my paper towel, it's clean. Right? I washed it. If you come up here and look at it, there's nothing on it. You run your hand across it, you don't feel nothing. It's clean, right? It appears to our eyes to be clean. But what a lot of folks don't realize is that washing sometimes leaves behind microscopic critters. We call them bacteria. Right? These bacteria are continuing to grow. They're continuing to spread. They're continuing to threaten anything that comes in contact with it. How many know there's bad bacteria? Hey, good job, everybody. Bacteria can be bad for you, right? It can make you sick. You go to the doctor, oh, I don't feel good. You got a bacterial infection. How could that be? I cleaned everything. Well, you didn't clean it good enough. Everybody with me? Yeah. All right. It's continuing to grow, continuing to threaten everything. It's waiting to cause illness and spread from one host to another. Bacteria. It's waiting to spread from me to you, to you, to you, to you. To everybody. Right? It has no end. It doesn't care where it stops. It just wants to keep growing. Washing is only the first step to eliminating the threat. In this case, we're going to call that threat evil. Bacteria is evil. Sanitizing is going that step further to stopping the spread of the disease by killing the bacteria. By killing those little critters that we can't see with our eyes. Sanitizing gets down to those microscopic levels to stop the threat of the enemy. Sanitizing secures you to be strong, confident in what you have, and puts a defense system between you and the bacteria to keep you going. Keeps you from getting sick. Keeps you from getting hurt. So if I wash it with my towel and I just wipe it off, it looks clean, but you know what? They might still have something on there that I don't know is there. But if I take some sanitizer and I sanitize it, guess what? It's a lot safer now, isn't it? I just killed the bacteria. I just put a defense wall between me and the bacteria, right? I did something to go a little bit step further to stop the evil from getting to me. But a lot of times when it comes to washing and sanitizing, we think we've done all the right things by just washing it. We think that that initial wash took care of all the problems. We think we're safe from any kind of harm, any kind of evil, any kind of anything getting to us, but we're not. We didn't sanitize it, right? We didn't make sure that there was something to take care of this problem. It's important to keep it in that order also. To wash and then sanitize. You can't sanitize and then wash. If you sanitize the top of dirt, you sanitize the top layer of dirt. Then you wash the dirt off, and you've left everything under the dirt exposed once again. It's important, remember that, to keep that in a certain order. Wash, sanitize. Say it with me. Wash, sanitize. Hey, everybody's got a food safety lesson in here. I didn't even charge for it. So now that we've had our food safety lesson, let me tell you how this can apply to your spiritual life. Because what I said in the beginning, there's a lot of things we do in our lives that we can turn and say, hey, you know what? This actually has a spiritual meaning behind it, and I can put it in terms that even I understand. And if I can understand it, everybody else can understand it. Right? See, when you're a sinner, that'd be us. Right? When you're a sinner, you get covered in all kinds of dirt. You're cloaked in it. You're bathed in it. When you continue to do the same sin over and over and over again, it consumes you. It wraps you up. Right? And it just keeps building. That dirt becomes grease. And that grease becomes grime. And pretty soon, that filth, that evil, consumes you. And after a certain period of time, that evil decides it doesn't want to stay on the outside. That evil starts looking for a way in to the inside. It's looking for a way into here, into your heart. It's looking for a way into your mind. That evil, which is Satan, is trying to trick you. He's trying to make you doubt. He's trying to twist the things that you know are right in the world into accepting it. And what happens when that happens? Guess what? More dirt builds up on the outside. More junk starts to hit your life. It gets to be so deep that that junk and that dirt and that evil starts to hide from the visible eye. It's easy to tell somebody who's bad or evil when they carry it on the outside. But you never know about when they're carrying it on the inside. When it becomes so deep that it's not visible to your eyesight, that's when it's really bad. That's when the evil has been penetrated. That visible dirt can be seen by everybody. It stands out in the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you conduct business in your job. It stands out in the way you communicate with others. It stands out in the way you take care of your family or don't take care of your family. It stands out in your behavior, your personality. People can see. You ever had a boss that you just knew, man, that guy, there's something wrong with him, or that woman, man, they must be demon possessed. I know you're not talking about me. Brock used to work for me. But seriously, you work for somebody and you're like, man, they're always hateful. They're always rude. They're always yelling. They're always cussing. They're always screaming. See, that's easy to see, right? That's the visible dirt. But it's your bacteria evil. Bacteria evil that causes the most damage to you and the most damage to others. It's the evil in you that has started to nest in your heart and the nest in your head, like a bird nests in a tree. Nestled in, all snug, with no intentions of going anywhere else. That's the stuff that does the worst damage. That stuff's not as easily seen. And sometimes isn't seen until it's too late. When you hit rock bottom. The visible evil is easier to deal with. It's easier to deal with that kind of stuff. For me to, hey, stop being mean to somebody at church. Stop cussing at somebody in class. I almost said Brock. I'm sorry, brother. It's easy to change my visible dirt. Right? I can hide the stuff I don't want people to see when I'm around people that I don't want them to see. How do you hide your visible dirt? Maybe you start going to church. You start meeting some new folks. You start trusting people. Hey, I trust somebody to talk to them about what's going on in my life. To the other people in the group, you say, hey, that guy's going somewhere. His life's changing because he's trusting. He's talking about his problems. Yeah. Isn't that our goal as Christians, is to reach people? To get them to break down their walls and their defenses? To actually talk to us and tell us what's going on so we can help or we can encourage? Right? Well, it's easy for somebody with the visible dirt to start shedding that physical dirt. If I can get it out there. Maybe you just meet new people. You go to that church, you meet some new folks. You're like, hey, I want to hang out with that guy. He's happy all the time. Right? So you start talking to him. Physically, you look like your life is changing when you're around other folks. You and everybody else can see the dirt just fall off of you. You worship, all of a sudden your hands start raising. Your voice gets louder in the congregation. People are like, man, he's getting it. They're feeling it now. That physical dirt's falling off. This is what I call just a washed Christian. You started washing the dirt that everybody else can see away. But maybe there's something left behind. Something you didn't realize was going to be there. Something that nobody else even realizes. You may proclaim God to be your Father, worship, pray, join small groups, maybe even become someone in the church who stands out as a leader or a mentor. Because you want to be noticed. Because you want people to see you as somebody. To everybody else, you look pretty good, like you got everything going on. We all want to look like we got it going on, right? Even when we're falling apart. We want to look like we got it going on. We're all macho, men and women alike. We all put on a tough facade. I can handle this. I can do it on my own. Everything's great. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. I know this person's life's falling down around them. But you can't help somebody who doesn't want help. That's what I keep getting told.
Amen.
You can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. Gotta try. I gotta try. But it's easy to put on that facade that I got everything going on, that everything's okay. My dirt's gone. I'm clean. Right? For everybody else to notice. The washed Christian is also a vulnerable Christian. The washed Christian has lied to themselves and lied to others. And in doing so, they've lied to God, saying, I've got everything going on. God knows the truth, even if nobody else does. To be only washed means that there could be some pretty bad stuff still hiding in the darkness of your heart. Some pretty bad stuff maybe hiding in your mind. Hiding in the things you do when you go home by yourself. It's this stuff that nobody sees until it's too late. This evil stuff or spiritual bacteria that if not dealt with can take you down. Can wipe you out. And it most certainly will stop you from receiving the joy, the peace, and the love that God has to spread out to each and every one of us. Folks, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people in our community just like that. If you've ever knocked on their doors, you'll see it on their face. They tell you they got everything going on. They got no problems. They'll even tell you to your face, oh yeah, I talk to God every day. Because they want you to go away. They want to tell you what you want to hear. They're trying to wash themselves up for you. And guess what, folks? We might have some people in our church doing the same thing. We got some washed Christians in the church. Could be anybody. Could be the person you sit next to in your small group. It could be the one singing the loudest song. It could be the one sitting in the corner all by themselves. It could be a teenager. It could be your spouse. That's a tough one to listen to. It could be somebody in your own family. could be. You see, when you start washing your life clean, you're going to make some changes. That's evident. You're not going to be who you once was, just as the song played. I'm not who I was in front of everybody else. I'm not who I was till something goes wrong. I'm not who I was till I've had a bad day. I'm not who I was until that temptation is put back in front of my face for the first time. Folks, that's a washed Christian. What do we say about being washed? You can't be clean until you're sanitized. You can't get rid of that stuff, that bacteria that's growing inside until you're sanitized. If you're a washed Christian, you have not been sanitized yet. Once again, sanitizing means eliminating the deep down threats. The ones that you can't see. The ones that you can't physically grab a hold of and deal with. You've got to have faith when you're sanitizing. You have to have faith, just like with the little sanitizer I put on the stool here, that what that bottle says it does, it does. I simply got to wash first. And then I sanitize to make sure that that threat is gone. Sanitizing, once again, means taking the next step. In your spiritual life, it means taking the next step spiritually. Y'all know we're not done taking steps spiritually. None of us are. We all can take a few steps here and there. For some of us, it may be time to take that next step. It means taking a stand against the person you were and the person you may still be on the inside. On the outside, you're washed clean. You haven't sanitized your soul yet. You haven't sanitized your heart. Maybe you haven't sanitized your mind. Think about the ideas and the thoughts that run through your head throughout the day. That's a quick way to know if you've sanitized your heart. Sanitizing is the only way to changing your heart. Washing is only one step of two-step process that unfortunately some folks fail to see. Sometimes it takes a life-changing event for them to realize they're not sanitized like they thought they were. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom before they realize I wasn't who I thought I was in Christ. I thought all these years I was saved. I thought all these years I had everything going on. Something bad really happens in your life and you realize, I'm not sanitized on the inside. That sanitizing is the second step. And remember, it has to go in this process. It has to go in the wash to sanitize. Spiritually sanitizing means one thing and one thing only. Truly, 100%, without a doubt, accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Welcoming Him into your heart to live there. And knowing without a shadow of a doubt, you're a born-again Christian. Knowing that Jesus dwells inside you. Not just visitors from time to time, but Jesus dwells inside you. He lives inside you. That's what it means to sanitize yourself, spiritually speaking. When this happens, and it truly happens, guys, you're going to know about it. You're going to know it happened. Because there won't be any doubt. There won't be any second thoughts. Oh, did that really happen? Am I really who I thought I was? Can Jesus even do that? If you have those thoughts going through your mind, I can tell you tonight, you've got some steps to take toward getting sanitized in Christ. Spiritually. You know, some folks may go their entire life thinking that they're saved and realizing that they're not. And there's nothing wrong with realizing that you're not, if you do it before it's too late. Jesus changes your heart. If you've accepted Jesus Christ into your life, 100%, without a doubt, you're a changed person. You're a changed person because Jesus says, you're whole now. You're so much better than what you were before. You started a process in God, in Christ, that can't be stopped. Speed bumps along the way, but it can't be stopped. You'll know without a shadow of a doubt. You'll have a peace. You'll have an overwhelming comfort come upon you in your life. When the hard times come, they don't seem so hard. And when the even harder times come, because you made it through those, you realize you don't have to do it alone. You have people to lean on. You go to God for those things. I hope you know that, I just hope everybody here realizes there is no doubt that Jesus changes lives for the better. He doesn't come into your life to bring things down upon you and make it worse. He comes into your life, He comes into your heart to make things better for you and for your family and the people around you. That's what His goal is. To save you from the ways of the world. To save you from the things that break you. To keep you whole. To sanitize you. He can release all that junk that you keep hidden inside. He can help you let go of all that stuff that you keep holding on to. That bacteria that's growing inside. That spiritual bacteria. The evil that you've covered up by washing the outside. It's important to realize salvation comes from sanitizing through Jesus Christ. Salvation is the number one thing. It's the key for all of us. It's the key for you as an individual. It's the key for your family, your community, your church, your loved ones. That's the goal, is to bring the good news of the gospel to everybody. And what is that? It's the good news about salvation. About the fact that Jesus Christ lived, died, rose again, and He's coming back to get some people. I can stand up here tonight and tell you when He comes back, He's getting me. I'm going to try to be first in line, but Travis is going to push me down. I know he's going to push me down. But can you sit in here tonight and say the same thing? I hope you can. And I hope if you say, yes, I am 100% saved. I'm 100% sanitized in Christ. I don't have all that junk down deep inside me, eating away at me. Because I let it all go. See, once you're saved and you accepted Jesus, you can let this stuff go. People tell you all the time, give it to God. Lay it before His feet. Lay it at the foot of the cross. It's pretty tough to do if you don't believe in what that cross stands for. It's pretty tough to do if you don't believe in Jesus Christ and what He stands for and what He did and what He's coming back to do. But if you believe in Jesus and He dwells inside you, you know what I mean by lay it down before Him. Because you'll feel that weight just lift off of you. And it's not a weight that lifts off and then comes right back. It's a weight that lifts off of you and never burdens you as much as it did before. Once again, life's not going to be perfect. We talked about that time and time again. It's important for people to know. But it's not going to be as tough to deal with the things that the world has to throw at you. And when that, sometimes we have circumstances that come back to us again. We've laid it at the foot of the cross. And maybe a circumstance just like it comes down the way because Satan's trying to get into you. When that happens, it's nowhere near as bad as when it happened the first time. Because this time, you've already laid that burden down. And God says, you ready for round 2? I am. Let's get it. Let's take it. And let's defeat it again. Are you washed and sanitized tonight? Are you washed and sanitized? Guys, I can't tell you how important it is to have both of those in your life. Everything starts with a washing. Small stuff starts dropping off. Things start fading. We quit doing some of the things we did. We want to strive to live a better life. It doesn't end there. It starts there, but it doesn't end there. You got to get that spiritual sanitizing. That's when you start living. That's when the world doesn't get you. You get the world. If you've ever seen somebody get down on their hands and knees and humble themselves before an almighty God and give their life to Jesus, that's a glow that you'll never forget. If you've never experienced it, I encourage you, find Jesus. Welcome him into your heart. And maybe you're saying, man, I thought I was saved, but I might not be. It's not too late right now. It's not too late right now. We have an invitation song to sing, to worship, to pray, to invite Jesus into our lives. No better time than the present, guys. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. So I encourage you tonight, if you haven't been washed and sanitized, spiritually speaking, let's get washed and sanitized tonight. Kenny, you ready? We do have an altar up here. If anybody wants to use the altar, we have a cross. I'll be more than happy to pray with anybody that wants to come up here. Call me to you.